Hi, Blackbird Pond Group. Well, let's go ahead and look at Chapter 11. In Chapter 11, we know we're in midsummer. She tells us this right at the beginning, so we know it's warm and it's hot. What does Kit wish she could be more like, or who does Kit wish she could be more like? Why is it that she wants to be more like Mercy? What did Mercy tell her at the beginning of Chapter 11 that she had decided a long time ago with her condition? Remember, after her fever, she gets to the point where she's not really able to walk. She's not as able to do things as easily as the other kids do. And she says, I thought of all the things I would never be able to do. And I'm on the top of page 112. And then I thought about all the things I could do. Since then, I just never thought much more about it. So, what is Mercy's attitude towards life? What is her outlook on life? Would you classify it as positive or negative? Now, what do you think? What does it tell us about Mercy? Is she somebody that you think you could be like? I mean, is she somebody you look up to? Is she somebody you're just like, yeah, well, so she's figured it out? What can we as individuals learn from Mercy's character? Okay, as Kit's sitting there and she's pondering this, she notices that there's somebody outside. Somebody keeps leaving flowers. Who is this person that leaves flowers? Yes, Prudence Cruft. She keeps leaving the flowers. And she, why is she leaving them? She said she's leaving them for Kit, but why is she leaving them for Kit? I think she feels kind of in my opinion, and if it's not the same as yours, that's fine. I think she feels kind of a connection with Kit. She saw Kit as that one person that was willing to jump into the cold water to save her doll. I don't think that Prudence is one that sees a lot of outwardly love and care. Don't get me wrong, I think her parents love her, but they're very staunch, traditional, children are seen and not heard, spare the rod and spoil the child type of individuals. And so she hasn't really seen that outwardly expression of love that Kit does without even knowing her. She knows the child wants the doll her grandpa made her. She jumps in, doesn't think anything of it. And so I think, in my opinion, Prudence kind of admired that and appreciated that. I don't know. What do you agree or disagree? I'm not going to count off if you disagree. Well, then Kit asks her. She says, "Do you want to come to school? Don't you want to learn like the other kids?" And she said, "Yes, but I can't. My mom tells me I'm too stupid." Now, I don't know about any of you, but that just broke my heart. Nobody is too stupid to go to school. And why do you think her mother said that? What was her mother's purpose in that? Think about the time period that they're living in and the community that they're living in, and the fact that this is a school that they would have to pay for. Could that have all played a part into why her mother said that? Okay, so Kit comes up with a plan. And what's her plan? That's right. She's going to meet Prudence by the willow down in the meadow, kind of by the Widow Tupper's house. And Prudence is a little bit scared of the Widow Tupper because of the story she's heard. And Kit's like, no, she's just a gentle old woman, but we're not going there. We're going to go to the willow tree. And she sits with her special horn book that she used as a girl, and she gives this book to Prudence. What is symbolic about this? The fact that Prudence doesn't seem to have many friends, Kit doesn't seem to have many friends, and Kit is giving her something that's very precious to Kit when Kit learned to read. What does that tell us? What is symbolic? Why does she do that? I think again, it's kind of those souls that just they need companionship. She knows that Prudence needs love. She needs love. She wants somebody she feels like she can depend on. Well, she tells Prudence, hey, you can keep this. This is yours to keep. And Prudence says, oh, no, 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 no. My mom won't let me. And she says, okay, we'll just go put it at the Widow Tupper's house. And at first, Prudence is scared. She's like, no, the witch, she's going to eat off my nose. And Kit realizes on the top of 116 that the child needed the comforting refuge, that place, Hannah's place, even more than she did. And not just Hannah's place, but the meadow. And Prudence is just like, she's going to cut off my nose if I go near her. She's repeating everything she has heard about the widow. None of them are true. They're all rumors. They're all lies. They're all innuendos. It's not true at all, but she's repeating all of it because she is, quite frankly, nervous. She's scared about going there. And Hannah's like, would I steer you wrong? I go there. It is fine. And so she takes her there, and the very first thing she says is, I found how did she put? I've brought another rebel to visit you. That's how she says it. I brought another rebel to visit you. I promise on my, sorry, I went up a line. She announced, I brought another rebel to visit you, she announced as Hannah came to the door. Hannah's pale eyes twinkled. I love that. It shows us that Hannah is thrilled to have another friend. She's thrilled to have a visitor. She has nobody, and so now not only does she have Nat and she has Kit, but she has this little girl that's coming. And the first thing she shows her are the kittens. And remember what Nat said about, she gave him some blueberry cake and a kitten. Well, what does she do with little Prudence? That's right. She shows her the kittens and she says, I believe there must be a morsel of blueberry cake for such a smart pupil. And the morsel of cake vanished in a twinkling. I love this on 117. Hannah's magic cure for every ill, Nat had said. Blueberry cake and a kitten. Kit smiled to see it working its charm on Prudence. But there was an invisible ingredient that made the cure unfailing. The Bible name for it was love. So what is it that all of these people desire? Hannah and Nat and Kit and Prudence. What do they all need? What do they all want? What are they all searching for? I think that love, companionship, if that's what you said, to me that's what they're searching for, is somebody that cares. They just want to know that there's somebody out there that truly cares about them. Can you relate to that? Have there been times where you're like, all I want to know is just somebody truly cares? You don't have to answer that as part of your big discussion document. But I do want you to think about it, because that's one way we can really relate to the characters. Okay, as they leave, Prudence asks her then, she says, why is it that people are always so rude to Hannah? She's so nice. And she says, well, she said, people are afraid of things, and I'm on 118. People are afraid of things they don't understand. Is that still true today? Yeah. When we don't understand something, our natural impulse is to be frightened of it, to be fearful. And that's what Kit is saying. People are scared of Hannah Tupper because they don't know her. They don't understand her. She's a Quaker. She lives out on her own. She's different. So it's much easier to make up stories about her. Well, what can we learn? What have you learned from Hannah and Kit and Prudence and Nat so far? What do you think one of the themes of our story is? All right, as we go on then, she kind of starts to worry a little bit about what she's done. She says, as always, she had acted on impulse, never stopping to weigh the consequences. Now, too late, she began to wonder. Well, Kit is a very spontaneous, impulsive woman. Okay, that frontal cortex of her brain has not been developed yet. She's only 16 or 17, remember? And that doesn't develop until you're 20, so she's very impulsive. Well, that night, she's sitting around, and William has come courting, and John has come courting. And what is she sick about hearing from William? Why? Why is it starting to bother her so much? What does it tell us that William sees as important? And he's not the only one. He's just the one that we can name. She goes on to say that then Mercy had made the comment, well, John, what have you brought to us to read tonight? And she says that's the one time they kind of all agreed. They all enjoyed listening to John read. His voice was very methodic, very soothing, just very peaceful. And she said that books that John shared with them had opened a window on a larger world. So this is a time that they truly enjoy together. So he reads to him, and as he's reading, she looks over to Mercy. And what does she notice about Mercy? Yeah, Mercy was in love with John Holbrook. Who else is in love with John Holbrook? That's right, her sister. Dun dun dun. Maybe a little bit of conflict could happen here. Do you think Mercy will ever say anything? Why not? Or why, if you said why? Do you think Mercy would purposely hurt her sister in any way, shape, or form, even if it meant giving up somebody she loves? Explain why or why not. Kit then says in the very last paragraph, "I wish I had not seen it," she thought in a burst of sadness. Yet she knew she would never forget it as long as she lived. The flame that had burned in Mercy's eyes had such purity, such complete selflessness, that everything Kit had ever known seemed dim in its light. What must it be to care for someone like that? Care for someone like how? How is Mercy able to care for John Holbrook and Judith and her family in a way that Kit doesn't understand? What does it mean to care for somebody selflessly? That's what I want you to end your discussion on today. What does it mean to care for somebody selflessly? And again, going back to my theme question from earlier, how does that play into what you think one of the themes of our novel could be? All right, Blackbird Pond people, there we go. Have a great rest of the day. I'm proud of you guys. Keep it up.